Radhe Radhe, Dandavat Pranam. Welcome to Shri Shri Radha Vinobihari Mandir, Shri Vrindavan Dham. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Patit Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Shachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai, Radha Vinobihari Ju ki jai, Radha Ramana Ju ki jai, Giriraj Mahārāja ki jai, Harinam Sankirtana ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Excuse me, I have to just give one instruction. Radhe Radhe. Upar chahiye, theek hai?
What happened?
No, I told him I want the thing higher.
Yeah, okay. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam. Okay, so we have someone here, so sometimes I might be a little distracted, so please forgive me. We will begin with Mangalacharan, praying for the grace, the mercy, the blessings, the presence and the sidelong glance of our Guru Varga, beginning with our Gurudev, all of our Guru Parampara, Nityananda Prabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sachinandan Gaura Hari, Krishna, and his Prem Guru Srimati Radhika, Radhikar Prema Guru Ami Shishya Nata. And that is page 1 of this beautiful transcendental treasure trove, Shri Gauriya Giti Guccha, Bandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutat Padakamalam. Dandavat Pranam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavāśca Shri Rupam Sagrajata Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadhutam Parjana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Vitangscha Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Shri Krishna Leela Katane Sudaksham Audarya Madhurya Gunaishcha Yuktam Varam Varenyam Purusham Mahantam Nārayaṇam Tvam Shirashan Namami Trikandinam Bhakta Shiromanuja Shri Krishna Padāvjudataika Hriddi Chaitanya Leelamrita Sarasar Nārayaṇam Tvam Satatam Prapadye Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedānta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Vishnupadaya Gaurapreshthaya Bhutale Shri प्रज्ञान केशव इति नामिने अतिमर्त्यचरित्राय स्वश्रितानां च पालिने जीवदुःखे सदरताय श्रीनाम प्रेमदायिने नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वती नामिने श्रीवर्षभानवीने दयिताय कृपाभये कृष्णसम्बन्धविज्ञान दयिने प्रभवे नमः माधुर्योज्ज्वलप्रेमान्य श्रीरूपान्वभक्तिदान श्रीगौरकरुणाशक्ति विग्रहाय नमोऽस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दिनतारिणे रूपान्गम्भिरुद्धाप सिद्धान्तत्वन्तहारिणे नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षान्वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्भनसम्पोधि पदं पूजायते नमः नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगवरायते गौराविर्भावभूते स्वं निर्देष्टा सजनप्रिया वैष्णवः सर्वभौमश्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः वञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महाबलव्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरद्विषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणासिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकाकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जयतं सुरतोपं मम मन्दमतिर्गति मत्सर्वस्वं पदं मोजो राधामदनमोहनो दिव्यवृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमदो श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थो श्री श्रीराधा श्रीलमुकुन्ददेवो प्रेष्ठानिधिः सेव्यमानं स्मरामि श्रीमन्द्रसरसारम्भे वंशीवत्तनुदतस्थितः कर्षन्मेनुस्वनैर्गोपी गोपीनाथ श्रीस्तुनः वृन्दाय तुलसीदेव्यै प्रियायै केशवस्य च कृष्णभक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवत्यै नमो नमः पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्तज्ञं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द चेतो दर्पणमार्जनं भवमहादामग्निनिर्वापनं श्रेयनैरवचन्द्रिकावितरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दं मुनिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतास्वादनं सर्वात्मस्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनं हरेर्नाम हरे 1 minute. Sudevi, that top thing on the ladder, hit it down so it attaches, otherwise the straps where that thing is resting on. Move that. Excuse me. 1 second. This is urgent. Sorry. No, because it's dangerous. The strap might not hold it. Take this. Up the safety gear. Begin. Hold up. Safety gear. Begin. Okay. Sorry about that. The ladder wasn't locked in place, and I was just concerned that he could fall because he'll be lifting heavy things. Please forgive me for that. Yes, I forgot to say it, but I didn't need to say it because you all said it. There is new Shringar today. And somehow Krishna Dasi appeared on time, and we were singing her favorite Mangalacharan tune. So how about that? Today, I saw Shyamrani Didi and Vasanti. They arrived in India. Yes, it is possible to somehow arrive in India. I think you need like business visas or something. But anyhow, they made it. And that was very nice to see them. Very auspicious. And something I realized. Because we were talking about Thakurji. And how they seem to be appearing more and more beautiful every single day. And Sudevi and I were discussing this just recently, and I was like, how is it possible? And I said, I think because they're receiving so much love, affection, and admiration from all of you, so they're reciprocating with that. The more that you're giving your adoration, Krishna definitely reciprocates with adoration. This is his nature. And I was thinking that all of you kind of have to endure a couple, 2.5 hours of bhajans and katha so that you can get close-up darshan of them. So anyhow, I think it's worth it to be able to get that close-up darshan. So now, we're going to sing Shri Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman. Tomorrow for us is Ekadashi and the day of Sri Madhavendra Puripad. So we will be discussing the glories of Madhavendra Puripad in relation to the Lord and in relation to Mahaprabhu, and also the glories of Ekadashi tomorrow. Today we will continue with our program of Damodarāṣṭakam. Okay, Guru Charana Kamal Bhajaman, page 359. 359. You know, I never knew, I didn't realize it, even after coming to our Srila Gurudev, that this bhajan, which is written by him, we had heard time and time again from Achyutananda Swami on the recording. Remember that Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman? And he was singing all of these bhajans. Little did I know that Srila Prabhupada had sent him to stay in the mutts. He stayed in Srila Sridhar Maharaja's mutt. He stayed in our Param Gurudev's mutt, so that's Bhakti Pragyankeshu Goswami Maharaj, along with our Srila Gurudev. And he learned all of these bhajans and then brought them to ISKCON. So we grew up with a lot of these. Madhava Madana Murari Radhe Shyam Shyam Shyam. And we sing the Vrajajana Manasukakari. And he was singing this one, Guru Charana Kamal Bhajaman. We were growing up with it as little kids, and I didn't even connect the two until much later. So that's pretty interesting. Thank you, Anjali, for confirming that. I was thinking the same thing, because I also get close-up darshan when Sudevi's bringing the camera close up to them. Shri Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman. Shri Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman. Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman. Guru Charana Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman, Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman, Shri 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 Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman. Guru Deva Jai Guru Deva, Guru Deva Jai Guru Deva, Guru Deva Jai Guru Deva, Guru Deva Jai Guru Deva Jai Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada. Guru Parampara, Guru Parampara, Parampara Guru Parampara, Guru Parampara, Guru Parampara, Parampara Guru Parampara. Srila Gurudeva ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Shri Guru Parampara ki jai. It's interesting, in this bhajan we just sung, I'm going to keep that on a little bit just to distract from the banging next door. Regarding what we were speaking yesterday, the second line of this bhajan is very, very clarifying. Guru Kripa Bina Nahi Koi Sadhana Bal. Without the mercy of Gurudev, Guru Kripa, Bina means without. Nahi Koi Sadhana Bal means we won't have strength, we won't have any power to move forward in our sadhana. There's a reason for that. Because sadhana, the name itself, implies those activities or those practices that one undertakes in order to attain their sadhya or their goal. Kriti sadhya, bhavet sadhya, bhava sa sadhana vidha. So from that very foundational aspect, and it's interesting that I'm using this word foundational because actually it's our goal, but the foundation must be the goal. If we don't have a goal, then what are we really doing? What are we going for? How can we develop obsession, intense desire, or greed to attain it if we don't have that already set? That is why Shri Guru is necessary to detect what is deep inside. I'm so far removed from the nature of my Atma, millions and millions of bodies, millions of species of life, so many coverings of false egos, so many coverings of false intelligence, so many different layers of conditioning that I don't know and I cannot see who this Atma really is. But because Shri Guru is Tattvadarshi, he knows and sees the truth. Who is the truth? Advaigyan Tattva Braje Brajendra Nandan. That is the absolute truth. Para Brahma Shri Krishna in Vrindavan. He is the original origin of everything. So Shri Guru, real Shri Guru, can see, not just see, knows. Srila Prabhupada wrote, practically experiencing. And Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaj added the term, their relationship. So, who is practically experiencing their relationship with Krishna means in reality experiencing that. Because they know Krishna, because they're able to capture Krishna by their love and affection, they are also able to know and see everything else. In other words, they can see right past all of our layers right into the intrinsic nature of our Atma. Beside the fact that Guru is, according to Tattva Siddhanta, according to Shastra, the external manifestation of Paramatma in the heart. Paramatma has been riding along with this Atma since time without beginning. So Paramatma knows. He's seen all of the different phases that we have undertaken, but yet that part which remains as it is, Paramatma knows. And because we, conditioned jivas, cannot directly perceive Paramatma, or don't know how to discriminate between Paramatma's voice and the voice of our minds, intelligence, egos, and whatever else, then according to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Jive Shakshat Nahitate, because the jiva, conditioned soul, cannot directly see or perceive Paramatma in the heart, Paramatma steps outside in a sense, takes a form externally for the purpose of the jiva recognizing and communicating via the external senses. Jive sakshat nahitate guru chaitya rupe. So he manifests externally in the form of Diksha and Shiksha gurus. Diksha guru is known as Krishner Roop, the form of Krishna. And Shiksha guru is known as Krishner Svarup, Krishna's own form or Krishna's nature, his qualities. In other words, there's no real difference between the two. And Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita confirms this by saying that anyone who thinks there's a difference between the two, well, this is aparad. In other words, Krishna is manifesting in different forms, but it is the same personality. Or as our Gurudev would say, the same wine in a new bottle. So from that perspective, we require to know our goal. And how do we know our goal? Not by our own power. How can we know that? By our own material power, how can we know and see what is transcendental and true? But by taking shelter of someone who can see what is transcendental and true. They can detect the nature of our Atma, prescribe the appropriate sadhana to attain our particular goal. And it's a very particular, very focused, individual, distinct, intrinsic goal that is present within every jiva. So Guru prescribes the appropriate sadhana. In the beginning it might be quite general, but after some time it becomes more refined. Like when you go to school in the beginning, everyone's there, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Then you're progressing a little bit more, you're taking general, of course the math classes and all of the general stuff. But when you start going into university, then you start specializing. And then as you're progressing even more, you start specializing even more. And each individual specializes in a different way, according to their own nature and proclivity or desire. In this case, according to our own intrinsic, individual, eternal nature. As our Srila Prabhupada writes, that he has eternally inherent within him, that's us. Shri Guru detects that and then gives us the appropriate practice to awaken that particular goal. So, Guru Kripa Bina, without the mercy of Gurudev, nahi koi sadhana bal. We will have no power to move forward on the path of sadhana because there will be no, I don't want to use the word no meaning, but it's not really sadhana if there's not really a goal. And the goal of sadhana, the immediate goal of our sadhana bhakti is bhava bhakti. And the immediate goal of bhava bhakti is prema bhakti. But still there needs to be some kind of indication which way we are going. So I just wanted to share that in terms of this particular line. Without Guru's mercy, we have no strength in our sadhana. And this is confirmed by all Shastra, or by all of our Vaishnavacharyas. So I just thought, as I was singing this bhajan, that line was so appropriate to go along with the conversation we were having yesterday, well, the discussion. Okay, now we will call for the mercy and grace of the Vaishnavas. O he Vaishnava Thakur, Doyar Sagar, Edase Kurna Kori, by Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur, page 39. Rudra, you have to put the word bal at the end. Strength. Also, there's no sadhana. And if you do not have this Gauriya Giti Gucha, then just scroll to the most recent post of Jiva Pavana Prabhu. There he posts the bhajans along with the translations, along with or followed by beautiful commentaries of our acharyas. O he Vaishnava Thakuro Doyar Sagaro Edase Karuna Kori O he Vaishnava Thakuro Doyar Sagaro Edase Karuna Kori Diya Pado Chaya Shodho Heya Chaya Shodho he amare Tomar charano dhori Tomar charano dhori O he Vaishnava Thakuro Doyar Dase Karuna Kori O he Vaishnava Thakuro Doyar Sagaro He Dase Karuna Kori Chaya Vegodomi Chaya dosha shodhi Chaya guno deho dase Chaya mego domi Chaya dosha shodhi Chaya guno deho dase Chaya sato sango deho he amare Chaya sato sango deho he amare Oshechi sangero ashe Oshechi sangero ashe O he Vaishnava Thakuro Doyar Sagaro He Dase Karuna Kori O he Vaishnava Thakuro Doyar Sagaro He Dase Karuna Kori Ekakiyama Nahi Paiva Hari Nama Sankirtane Ekakiyama রাধা বিন্দু দিয়া দেহ কৃষ্ণ নাম ধনে দেহ কৃষ্ণ নাম ধনে ওহে বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর দয়ার সাগর এ দাসে করুণা করি ওহে বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর দয়ার সাগর এ দাসে করুণা করি কৃষ্ণ সে তোমার কৃষ্ণ দিতে পারো তোমার শক্তি আছে কৃষ্ণ সে তোমার কৃষ্ণ দিতে পারো তোমার শক্তি আছে আমি তো কাঙ্গাল কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ বলি আমি তো কাঙ্গাল কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ বলি ধাই তব পাছে পাছে ধাই তব পাছে পাছে ওহে বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর দয়ার সাগর এ দাসে করুণা করি ওহে বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর দয়ার সাগর এ দাসে করুণা করি দিয়া পদ ছায় শোভ হে আমারে দিয়া পদ ছায় শোধ হে আমারে তোমার চরণ ধরি তোমার চরণ ধরি বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর প্রভু কৃপা করো মোরে দয়া করো 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 All Vaishnava Thakurs ki jai. Now we will call for the mercy of Śrī Rupa Gosvāmī.
He's showing you that this is defective. It's supposed to go on with 3, but only 1.
No, 2 will fit. 2 नहीं. ये वाला आशु से. हाँ. Let me see it.
One side works, the other side doesn't. Hi, bye everyone.
Wait. Right. Only that.
You said it's defective.
It is not good. Yeah, Ashu se. What can I do? Those are the ones he gave me.
Just today?
No, before, for this.
So it works.
No, though, but we never used those before. Gita Sangsar.
So 1 year.
Yeah, but he sold it to me.
But we didn't use.
Yeah, we never used it. Naya. Ah. So if he sold me bad product, then he should replace it for free. Gita Sangsar. So page 48, Vishaya Vasana Rupa Chittera Vikar by Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur. And it's just the appropriate bhajan, isn't it, Janardhan Prabhu? Om Vishaya Vasana Rupa Chittero Vikaro Amara Hridoye Bhoga Kore Anibaro Vishaya Vasana Rupa Chittero Vikaro Amara Hridoye Bhoga Kore Anibaro Tato je jatano yami Korilamo hai Tato je jatano yami Korilamo hai Nagelo vikaro buddhi Sheshe prano jai Nagelo vikaro buddhi Sheshe prano jai E ghoro vikaro more Korilo yasthiro E ghoro vikaro more Korilo yasthiro Shanti na pailo sthano antaroyo dhiro Shanti na pailo sthano antaroyo dhiro Shri Rupa Gosvāmī more kripa vitoriya Shri Rupa Gosvāmī more kripa vitoriya Udhari kabe jukto vairagyo arpiya Udhari kabe jukto vairagyo arpiya Kobe sonatono more charaye bishoy Kobe sonatono more charaye bishoy Nityanande samarpide hoya sado Nityanande samarpide hoya sado Shri Jiva Gosvāmī kabe Siddhanta shalile সিদ্ধান্ত শনিলে নিভাইবে তর কানন চিত্ত যাহে জ্বলে নিভাইবে তর কানন চিত্ত যাহে জ্বলে শ্রী চৈতন্য নাম শুনে উদিবে পুলক শ্রী চৈতন্য নাম শুনে উদিবে পুলক রাধা কৃষ্ণামৃত পানে হইব অশোক রাধা কৃষ্ণামৃত পানে হইব অশোক কাঙ্গালের সুকাঙ্গাল দুর্জন এ জন কাঙ্গালের সুকাঙ্গাল দুর্জন এ জন বৈষ্ণব চরণাশ্রয় যাচে অকিঞ্চন বৈষ্ণব চরণাশ্রয় যাচে অকিঞ্চন বৈষ্ণব চরণাশ্রয় যাচে অকিঞ্চন বৈষ্ণব চরণাশ্রয় যাচে অকিঞ্চন রূপ সনাতন জয় রূপ সনাতন রূপ সনাতন জয় রূপ সনাতন জয় রূপ সনাতন রূপ সনাতন রূপ সনাতন জয় রূপ সনাতন প্রভু হে 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 श्री रूप गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय श्री सनातन गोस्वामी पाद की जय श्री सद गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय looks like you are searching for nectar, so that is known as Krishna Sangsar. Normally we are engaged in Maya Sangsar, but Bhaktivedānta Thakur, he says Krishnera Sangsar Koro Charyanachar. Join the Sangsar of Krishna. That means be busy searching for Krishna, doing everything related to Krishna. Keep that as your Sangsar. If you have to do anything else, get it done quickly so you can re-enter your Krishna Sangsar. Krishnera Sangsar Koro Charyanachar. Give up all kinds of activities which are unfavorable for bhakti. Jive doya. Be merciful to the jivas. How? Tell them about Krishna. Bolo Krishna, bhajo Krishna, koro Krishna shiksha. Chant the name of Krishna. Worship Krishna. Follow the instructions of Krishna. Jive doya, Krishna Nam. Take shelter of Krishna Nam and share it with others. This is the essence of all kinds of dharma. So now we know the bhajan. Nadiya Godrume Nityananda Mahajan. One second. Gaudiya Kirtan. Let's just see if Madhukar Prabhu has placed within his collection of bhajans, kirtans, this Vishaya Vasana B. Interesting. He made this book, but I don't see it inside of the Gaudiya Kirtan app. I'll have to let him know. Okay. So now we're going to sing Nadiya Godrume Nityananda Mahajan, calling out for the mercy and grace of Shri Nityananda Prabhu. That is page 163, and I guarantee you will find it in KK Songs. Oh, there you are. It's already there. Jiva Pavana Prabhu has posted it. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Nadiya Godrume Nityananda Mahajan excuse me Nadiya Godrume Nityananda Mahajan Pati ache naam harta jibera karon Nadiya Godrume Nityananda Mahajan Pati ache naam harta jibera karon Nadiya Godrume Nityananda Mahajan Pati ache naam harta jibera karon Nadiya Godrume Nityananda Mahajan Pati ache naam harta jibera karon Shradhavano jana he Shradhavano jana he Shradhavano jana he Shradhavano jana he Pati ache naam harta jibera karon Pati ache naam harta jibera karon Nadiya Godrume Nityananda Mahajan Pati ache naam harta jibera karon Nadiya Godrume Nityananda Mahajan Pati ache naam harta jibera karon Prabhu raya gyay bhai magi e bhiksha Prabhu raya gyay bhai magi e bhiksha Bolo Krishna bhajo Krishna koro Krishna shiksha Bolo Krishna bhajo Krishna koro Krishna shiksha Nadiya Godrume Nityananda Mahajan Pati ache naam harta jibera karon Nadiya Godrume aparadha shunya hoye loho Krishna naam, aparadha shunya hoye loho Krishna naam, Krishna mata Krishna pita Krishna dhana pran, Krishna mata Krishna pita Krishna dhana pran, nadiya nadiya godrume nityananda mahajan, pati ache namahato jiver karon, nadiya nadiya godrume nityananda mahajan, pati ache namahato jiver karon, Krishnera sangsara ko chari anachar, Krishnera sangsara ko chari anachar, jive doya Krishna nama sarva dharma sar, jive doya Krishna nama sarva dharma sar, nadiya nadiya godrume nityananda mahajan, pati ache namahato jiver karon, nadiya nadiya godrume nityananda mahajan, pati ache namahato jiver karon, Shraddhavana jana hai, Shraddhavana jana hai, Shraddhavana jana hai, Shraddhavana jana hai, pati ache namahato jiver karon, pati ache namahato jiver karon, nadiya nadiya godrume nityananda mahajan, pati ache namahato jiver karon, nadiya nadiya godrume nityananda mahajan, pati ache namahato jiver karon, nitai 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 he, 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 nitai 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 he, gaura he, nitai he, gaura he, nitai he, gaura he, nitai he, gaura he, oh nitai he, gaura he, nitai he, gaura he, nitai he, gaura he, nitai he, gaura he. पतित पावन श्री नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय, प्रेम पुरुषोत्तम सचिनंदन गौर हरि की जय. So now when you wrote you were back, immediately I checked to see if we were gone, because everyone always writes back when we come back. I was a little bit like, did the thing freeze? So, Jai. Dandavat pranam all Vaishnavas. Now we're going to call out for the mercy of Śrī Satyanandana Gaura Hari. No worries. I'm confused because I'm bound in Gita Sangsara. Let's see. I'm looking for one that beautifully glorifies the qualities, the beauty. Sake kalaya gorumudaram. Yes. Hare Krishna. Page 340 in Śrī Gaudiya Gita Gucca. or whatever Jiva Pavana Prabhu posts. Sakhe kalaya goramudaram Sakhe kalayo goramudaram Sakhe kalayo goramudaram Sakhe kalayo goramudaram Nindito hato ko kanti ko levaro Nindito hato ko kanti ko levaro Garbito maro ko maram 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 Sakhe kalayo goramudaram Sakhe kalayo goramudaram Madhukar ranjito malati mandito Madhukar ranjito malati mandito Jita ghano kunchito kesham 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 Tilaka vinindita shashadharo rupako Tilaka vinindita shashadharo rupako Bhuvano manoharo vesham Bhuvano manoharo vesham Tilaka vinindita shashadharo rupaka Bhuvano manoharo vesham Bhuvano manoharo vesham O Sakhe kalayo goramudaram Sakhe kalayo goramudaram Madhu madhura smita lobhito tanubhritam Madhu madhura smita lobhito tanubhritam Anupamo bhavavilasam Anupamo bhavavilasam Anupamo bhavavilasam Anupamo bhavavilasam Anupamo bhavavilasam अनुपमो भावविलासं विधुवानो नागरी मोहितमानसो निधुवानो नागरी मोहितमानसो विकथितो गद विकथितो गदो गदो भाषं निधुवानो नागरी मोहितो मानसो विकथितो गदो गदो भाषं विकथितो गदो गदो भाषं सखे Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari, Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari, Jaya Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari, Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari, Gaura He, 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 Gaura He. Shri Sachinandana Gaura Hari ki Jai. Pure cow seva ki jai. Anup Krishna Prabhu Sudevi Didi ki jai.
Our cow people are here.
They're much more than cow people. They serve the cows, they serve the monkeys, they serve
They
the...
serve their guru.
Oh!
Oh.
I think that's the first time anyone has ever got that for them.
Oh, that's beautiful. Look.
They got that for Thakurji. Isn't that sweet?
You should show Thakurji first.
They saw it as soon as she walked, the moment she picked it for them. Radhe Radhe!
Radhe Radhe Prabhuji.
Wow, I was wondering how you both are. You've been traveling all over, going to all the places of pilgrimage.
We went Barsana yesterday.
Yesterday in the rain.
You didn't get beaten?
We went in the rain before. It's so beautiful in the rain, especially when it's not too cold.
Weren't
But
they
it was
beating the men
strong.
yesterday?
Huh?
Weren't they beating the men yesterday?
Yes. Today
Oh,
was-
Anup Krishna went on the day that they beat the men. This is a holy festival tradition where one day out of the year, the women take the stick
After they're holy.
and they actually beat the men with sticks. And did you get hit?
No.
Good.
We
Anyway.
went Today also in Nandigaon.
Oh, really?
We've been today.
Nice.
Tomorrow in Vrindavan.
Why do the women beat the men with sticks?
It's traditional, actually it is a traditional because somebody said that once then Gopis caught Krishna in Dangali, they chastised him, beating him. So same culture they following.
Okay.
Gopis always beating the boys.
Did you hear that?
And
We do know that in Shankarikor, in Barshana, there, Krishna and a few of his cowherd boys would always harass and tease the gopis as they would come through that very narrow passageway carrying their pots of yogurt and buttermilk and everything else.
Just here for now. Radhe Radhe. He went and got a new one.
Oh. Sab ठीक है? You check पहले? पहले checking? ठीक है. He's installing. So, in Shankarikor, this very narrow passageway, our Srila Gurudev would take us there on Parikrama. And Anup Krishna Prabhu told it the other day when he was out doing cow seva in Govardhan. So, Jai. So the gopis would come through that narrow passageway carrying their goods. And technically, theoretically, they don't need to carry these products. You see, they are not poor by any means. It's not like they need to go and sell them. Rishabhanu Maharaj has how many cows? And cows were the measurement of wealth. First, how many did Nanda Maharaj have? 9 lakhs cows. Nanda Maharaj has 9 lakhs cows. That's 900,000 cows. That means he was extremely wealthy. How many cows does Rishabhanu Maharaj have? No. Wait, I'm asking them. Hopefully they didn't hear you. Whoever gets this answer right gets a pot of yogurt. You do count. You just counted, but you counted quietly so that others can also try. And the father of Lalita Saki, and the father of Vishaka Saki, and the father of all of Radhika's girlfriends, the parents of all of their girlfriends, all of her girlfriends, they all have so many cows. So why do the gopis need to carry yogurt and other milk products on their heads? Because they know that someone is very attracted to those products. That is the manifestation of the love and affection of not only the cows, but of the gopis who were churning the yogurt or who are making those products. Krishna is very attracted there. And also, on the pretext of carrying these to the market or wherever they're carrying them, they know that they may be able to meet with Krishna. So, going through these, very good, Sonam. Rishabhanu Maharaj, the father of Srimati Radhika, has 11 lakhs cows. That's 2 100,000 more cows than Nanda Mahārāja. In other words, Vrishabhanu Maharaj is more wealthy than Nanda Baba. So, 11 lakhs cows. Can you imagine? 1,100,000. Someone's trying to call me. So the gopis regularly, daily would pass through this Shankari Kor, this very narrow passageway, actually in the hopes of meeting with Krishna. But anyhow, when they do meet with Krishna, they pretend that they had no desire whatsoever to meet with Krishna. This is the nature of the love of the Brijabasis, especially the gopis for Krishna, right? Like, we don't want to meet with you. Why would we want to meet with you? You're just a troublemaker. You destroy everything, everywhere you go with all of your cows, they tell Krishna. So, yes, they tell him you are dark inside and out. And they chastise him in so many different ways. So, as the gopis are walking through that narrow passageway, Krishna and his cowherd boyfriends, they try to stop them. Hey, give us tax. Always tax. Krishna's always trying to tax the gopis. And they're like, why do we have to give you tax? You don't own us. You don't own this place. You don't deserve any of this. You didn't work for this. You don't have any right to tax us. And still to this day, following in the example, trying to copy Krishna, so many mafioso-like personalities, they set up tax collection points at any random location along the road. On Parikrama Marg, just near Kaliyahrad, you're like, who gave them the right to set up a tax booth there? And they have a little pink slip and they're like, tax. I'm like, I'm not paying you any tax. Show me your government ID that I should pay you tax. And they're like, we don't have anything. But anyhow, they set it up. And also on the road in Govardhan, right? As you're entering in, they're like, tax. Like, who gave you the right to set up a tax booth? But Krishna was doing the same thing all the time with those poor gopis. And so there would be some banter back and forth because Krishna would set up his own tax booth. And he would have his little Gunda cowherd boyfriends trying to help reinforce the fact that the gopis owe him tax. Give us your yogurt, give us butter, give us ghee, give us milk, give us anything. And the gopis are like, why should we give it to you? So some banter comes back and forth. And the gopis always end up chastising Krishna. What kind of person are you? Calling him some names, and Krishna's feeling so happy when this banter, because it doesn't matter how they talk to him. If they will talk to him at all, this gives him so much pleasure. And if it has to be in that way or any way, oh, at least they spend some time with me. So let them talk to me like this. And he's like, oh, this is so sweet. Even in Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita, it is stated that even all of the flowery words of the Vedas, Krishna says, does not in the slightest bit attract my heart. But even the chastising words of the gopis, oh, this completely captures my mind and my heart and controls me. So Krishna is always playing these tricks. And sometimes if they don't want to give it, then Krishna arranges for any pot to be broken, and that yogurt or milk or anything falls all over those gopis. So in that place, huh? Why did I start talking about tax?
Because they came from Vaishana and Govardhan, they're everywhere. And the men are being beaten.
Right. So this is why. Because the men were being beaten. So I'm telling the appropriate story for the men being beaten. This is the history that Anup Krishna has shared. Why the Brijabasis have this tradition. Do they have this tradition outside of Vrindavan? No. Where on one day the ladies beat the men. There is also a tradition of this happening, what is called Hair Panchami, and this is found in Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita. After Jagannath goes from the main temple in Puri to, where does he go? Gundicha Mandir. That represents Vrindavan, and the main temple in Puri represents Dwarka or Vaikuntha. So he's like, I'm just going to go. I just need a few days rest so I can get better from my sickness. And Lakshmi Devi, he's the goddess of fortune, remains there in the palace. And he goes to Vrindavan. So then messages are sent by Lakshmi Devi. When are you coming home? When are you coming home? Oh, just very soon. Just now coming. This is what everyone says in India. Just now coming. And then half an hour, 4 hours, 5 hours sometimes, 2 days, sometimes a month. It took us a month to get our keys. Every day asking, yeah, just now coming. So he was saying like that, too, sending a message back. And then he was staying too long. Lakshmi Devi was like, what is he doing there? Something's not right. So then she comes in riding on a royal palanquin with all of these guards, all of her female guards also. And then they start beating those people the servants of Jagannath. They start beating them with sticks. So this is also in the history of Lakshmi Devi and Jagannath, or her Krishna, going to Gundicha. This is there in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So here they also have this. What happens? Because Krishna is always harassing and teasing the gopis in this place, especially this narrow passageway, so that they decided, especially Lalita Sakhi, she's a tough one. You don't want to cross her. That's why we come in Lalita Sakhi's group. Because even Krishna is afraid of her. Even Srimati Radhika follows her instructions. She is so powerful. So we come in that group. We're praying to be in the group of Lalita Sakhi. So she planned, we will get them back. So they called thousands and thousands of gopis from everywhere. All of you should hide in all of the bushes in the jungle on either side of the hills here at Shankaripur. And when Krishna, we're going to send 1 or 2 gopis, just 1 gopi with yogurt. So that one was the bait. And she was coming through on her own, or maybe one other with her, carrying yogurt or any milk product in pot on her head. And at that time, sure enough, as was a daily occurrence, Krishna and his friends came. Just a few of them. Tax, give us tax. And that gopi, as the gopis would do, started harassing. She started fighting back. And then Krishna started harassing more, and she started arguing back. And then they started trying to make some difficulty. At that time, as Gurudev said, there was a whistle. Lalita Sakhi is that. I can't even do it. You can do it, please. There we go. So she whistled, and thousands of gopis came down and surrounded Krishna and his friends, including Madhumangal, captured them, and then began to teach them a lesson. What did they do? They tied them up by their hair or their shikas to the trees nearby and started smacking them. They were smacking them. Would you ever do this again? You're always teasing us, you're always harassing us, you're always stealing from us, you're always demanding tax, and smacking them until their cheeks were becoming very big and swollen and red. And they started crying out. After some time, the gopis released the cowherd boys, but they kept Krishna. And they dressed Krishna up in girls' clothes, and they put a pot of yogurt on his head. And they told him, now you have to march back and forth carrying this pot of yogurt. Krishna was surrounded. He didn't have much of a choice. Is everything okay?
I just wanted to make sure.
Thank you. So, at that time, as Krishna was marching back and forth, then Lalita Sakhi took one little stone and she threw it from the hillside, and it hit that pot of yogurt, and Abhishek, Krishna was completely bathed from top to bottom in yogurt. And then all the gopis were clapping and laughing so much. And then they were making Krishna hold his ears. Promise, you will never do those things again. You will never stop us again. You will never harass us again. You will never try to charge tax again. You won't disturb us anymore. And Krishna was like, I promise, I will never do it again.
Did you do it again?
My father asked Gurudev, so, did Krishna ever do it again? And Gurudev said, the next day. So there are histories of the ladies beating the men. And so this is the history. Anyhow, at this holy time, there is a tradition here in Braj where the ladies beat the men with sticks, and the men are not allowed to fight back. And some of the ladies hit pretty hard. So the men have shields? So the men are allowed to block with shields, but they're not allowed to fight back.
Some of them have shields, some of them just get hit.
They say that the women eat lots of yogurt and
Mm-hmm.
Became very
before
powerful.
the month.
They hit it very hard.
Really? Did you ever get hit by the?
No,
Lucky?
sometimes they got injured.
Mm.
Get injured.
Yes. So anyway, we don't do that, but it is a pastime that happens here. So now, it is a great tradition. They need the one day of repayment, right? And now we will call out, oh, Mridangawala. Kartali wali. Don't click on that. Devotees, don't click on that.
What?
I don't know what it is. But whoever just posted that, please tell us what it is. Maybe it's just a YouTube video, I'm not sure, but just be careful about clicking on it and something just because someone posts it. It could be clickbait and it could be any virus, so be careful. Okay.
Oh yeah, he's one of those.
Okay.
He's in block.
Shri Mangala Gitam. Shrita Kamala Kuchamandala Drita Kundala E by Shri Jayadev Goswami. Jai Radhe Krishna Govinda Gopala Nanda Dulala Jai Jashoda Dulala Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Jai Radhe Krishna Govinda Gopala Nanda Dulala Jai Jashoda Dulala Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Shrita Kamala Kucha Mandala Drita Kundala Shrita Kamala Kucha Kalita Lalita Bodhamala Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Kalita Lalita Bodhamala Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Dina Mani Mandala Mandala Bhavakandana Dina Mani Mandala Muni Jana Manasa कालिया विश्वधर गंजन जनरंजन कालिया विश्वधर जय जय देव हरे जदुकुल नारी मधुमोर नर कविनाशो गरुदास मधुमोर नर जय जय देव हरे कमल कमल दल लोचन भवमोचन कमल कमल दल त्रिभुवन भवन निधान जय जय देव हरे जनक सुता कृत भूषण जित दूषण जनक सुता कृत समरस जय जय देव हरे जय जय देव अभिनव जलधर सुंदर धृतमंदर अभिनव जलधर चंद्र चकोर राधा मुख चंद्र चकोर जय जय देव हरे राधा मुख चंद्र राधे कृष्ण गोविंद गोपाल नंद दुलाल जय यशोदा दुलाल जय जय देव हरे राधे कृष्ण गोविंद गोपाल नंद दुलाल जय यशोदा दुलाल जय जय देव हरे तव चरणे प्रणतामयम् इति भावये तव चरणे Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Guru Kushalam Shri Jaya Deva Kavelam Guru Te Mudam Shri Jaya Deva Kavelam Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Mangalamujala Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Jai Radhe Krishna Govinda Gopal Nanda Dulal Jai Yashoda Dulal Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Radhe Krishna Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Jaya Jaya Deva Oh Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Jaya Jaya Deva Krishna He Krishna He Krishna He Double. Oh Krishna He Krishna He Krishna He Krishna He Radhe He Krishna He Radhe सुदेवी कोई भजन राधा रानी के लिए even if it's in Hindi, like I don't know how to sing Radhe Jhulana Padharo or any of those other ones. You don't have to sing that, but if you want to sing a Hindi one, you can. But it has to be here. Even Radhe Jai Jai Madhava Dayate or Kalayati Nayanam. Because we don't have Mitarasa Sebharo here. Yes, that one is full of Radhe, Radhe, Radhe. And, oops, sorry, 1 second. No Kartali. Oh, it's okay. Radhe.
Shirani.
You just can't play the kartals, otherwise it'll be too...
Okay.
Stick it right here.
Shri, oh. Braj Mandal Sukhakari Radhe Sham Sham Sham
Shri Radhe Braj Mandal Sukhakari Radhe Sham 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 Now, page 290, Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam. Wow, how nice was that? All of us together doing beautiful bhajan of our Śrīla Gurudev, Śrīla Bhaktivedānta, Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Devotees are going to maybe say something because it won't look like Śrīmati Radhika is looking directly at the camera.
I'm doing my best. What do I do? Here?
Yeah. So I can just squeeze in on the side a little bit, but Thakurji needs to be looking directly at them.
All right. Is Thakurji looking at you?
Did you notice in that last footage? Normally I'm kind of in front of the camera, but when really nice, very soft-hearted, genuine devotees come.
The camera turns on its own.
No. Did you notice how small I was? That was representing my little semblance of devotion, and their devotion was very great.
It's Jayanti's favorite. She was singing loudly.
Sab theek hai? Badhiya?
Okay.
Okay.
He's working really hard.
Yeah. You lifted that akela?
Yes, by himself. He lifted it.
Okay.
No.
Good?
Hey, very neat.
He said it's easy, but he's sweating like anything.
Yes, he's like Hanuman.
Kishori, don't forget the lamp.
Thank you. So page 290, and we will sing it all together. Today we are doing the traditional Gaudiya tune, and we have with us the lamp. Shri Shri Radha Vino Bihari Ju Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai. Shri Giriraj Mahārāja Ki Jai. Shalagram Shila Ki Jai. Lad Gopal and Chota Chota Lad Gopal Ki Jai. Shri Yashoda Damodar Ki Jai. Oh. Namami Sharam Sachidanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam Yashoda Bhiyoluka Radhavamanam Paramrishtamadhyam Tato Dhrutya Gopya Namami Sharam Sachidanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam Rudantamurnetram Yugmam Rijantam Karambhojayumeno Shatam Kanetram Muhushasakam Trirekhankakam Stitagraiva Damodaram Bhaktivedāntam Namami Sharam Sachidanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam Iti Drikta Swanilabhi Ananda Kunde Swaghoshamima Jantam Akyapanantam Kariye Shitageshu Bhakti भक्तैर्जितात्वं पुनः प्रेमतस्तं शतावृत्तिं ते नमामि सच्चिदानन्दरूपं वरं देवमोक्षं न मोक्षावधिं वा न चाद्यं वृणेह वर्षादतिः इदं ते वपुरनाथो गोपालबालं सदा मे मनस्यामि आष्टं नमामि सच्चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुटालं गुरुविराजमानम् इदं ते मुखं भोजम् अव्यक्तनीलयन् वृत्तं कुन्तलसिंह रक्तैश्च गोप्या मुहुषुमितं बिम्ब रक्ताधरं मे मनस्याभिलाषम् अलं लक्ष्मणाय नमामि सच्चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुटालं नमो देवदामोदरानन्दो विष्णो प्रसीद प्रभो दुःख चालभिमानं कृपादृष्टिवृष्ट्याति दीनं बतानो गृहाणे क्षमामय तेभ्यः शीघ्रेष्य नमामि सच्चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुटालं गुरुविराजमानम् कुबेरात्मजो बद्ध मूर्त्यैव याद्वान् त्वय्यावचितो भक्ति भाजो कृतो च तथा प्रेम भक्ति स्वकाम्ये प्रयच्छ न मोक्षे ग्रहो मेऽस्ति दामोदरे नमामि सच्चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुटालं गुरुविराजमानम् नमस्ते सुताम्ने स्फुरदीप्तिधाम्ने त्वदीयोदरायातो विश्वस्य धाम्ने नमो राधिकाय त्वदीयप्रियाय नमो राधिकाय त्वदीयप्रियाय नमो नन्दनीयाय देवाय नमो राधिकाय त्वदीयप्रियाय नमो राधिकाय नमो राधिकाय त्वदीयप्रियाय नमो राधिकाय ओ नमो राधिकाय त्वदीयप्रियाय नमो राधिकाय नमो नन्दनीलाय देवाय दामोदर राधा दामोदर राधा दामोदर राधा दामोदर जय राधा दामोदर राधा दामोदर राधे जय राधे जय Damodarāṣṭakam ki jai. Secret code unlocked. Oh, they wanted to know where they can hear you sing more. And they said on the Pure Cow Seva team, sometimes you sing.
Secret code unlocked.
Ooh.
I like this tune.
Which tune is it? Okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Sudevi. Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Turn on the light out there. It's just where the internet is. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama, Guru Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare, oh Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Rama, oh Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Rupananda Gauri Guruvarga ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namah Ajnanatimirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Nama Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Namine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedānta Swami Niti Namine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Giring Yat Kripatamaham Bande Shri Gurung Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandavat Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Ashto Tarashata Shri Śrīmad Shri Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja. In the same thousands of Dandavat Pranam in the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Ashto Tarashata Shri Śrīmad Shri Bhaktivedānta Swami Shri Prabhupada, and to all of our Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga, and to all Vaishnavas past, present, and future, including all of you who are present with us today, including you, both also, and you, I offer my Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, dear Vaishnavas. Radhe 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 Shyam.
Radhe Shyam. So, today, before continuing with this, we had a couple questions at the very end of yesterday's discussion. And I was not able to answer those questions immediately, so I'd like to continue with that before entering into Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam. Question, Strawberry. But how does one know if our desire is part of our sarup without Guru being physically present? In other words, Gurudev corrected Sudevi out of Dwarka and into Braj. No Gurudev, who is the guide. And then this is reference to page 163, remembering and worshipping Sri Bhagavan along with those associates of his who have the same sort of love for Sri Krishna as he longs to attain. Very good question, Anjali. Sudevi was practicing, doing something which I had not seen anyone else do or even heard of anyone else doing. At that time, on her own, unlike the rest of most of us, she had chosen a goal. She had selected a guide. And she was doing a sadhan to attain that particular goal. The bedroom was not for us. The bedroom was her private sadhan room. And if someone would make a phone call or if someone would come knocking on the door asking for her, I would have to go peek in. I would open the door crack and look in. And it would just be full of smoke, some candles, and there she would be. What?
What kind of smoke?
Incense smoke, of course. Come on. Sudevi and I are two of the only people.
Kishori, stop. Kishori.
Okay. It was incense. So it was full of smoke, and the candles were there, and she would be sitting there chanting and weeping, crying. And what? Bapre bap. This is what she said. So, yeah, it was off limits to me or anyone else because Sudevi was in some kind of deep meditation. She made up her own number of Harinam, 23 rounds of Hare Krishna on her Japamala, and another 10 rounds of Jagannatha Swami Nayana Patagami Bhavatu Me on a different mala every day. And she was doing an intense sadhana. Who was her guide? Well, she thought, I only trust Prabhupada at that time. She didn't trust anyone else. She didn't know anyone else. But she knew she needed a guru and a guide and some inspiration. So she also had Amar Chitra Katha opened up, and it was the one about Meera. Meera, because in that comic book, she attained Krishna, and she didn't need anyone else. She was able to do it on her own. So she had that open for inspiration. And she was praying to become a queen in Dwarka. But her prayer was quite intense and quite sincere. Apparently, someone heard it. And what am I saying, someone? Maybe Krishna in Vrindavan, I don't know. But anyhow, some form of Bhagavan heard her incessant calling. Paramatma, in the heart. Heard that calling, that desire to attain Krishna and to become a queen in Dwarka. 16,109. But because that call was apparently sincere enough, Krishna sent a guide. If someone is really trying and crying and praying and desiring to somehow love and serve Krishna, Krishna will send His mercy. His mercy will manifest. And His mercy manifested in her life very soon thereafter in the form of the most beautiful, blue-eyed, golden, sweet, smiling, wonderful sadhu, Śrīla Gurudev Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja. That calling, that praying, called him to enter into her life. And when she first saw him, she said it was like breathing. Like that was how intrinsic he was to her life. And upon meeting and upon communicating, he very quickly focused her to her internal necessity so that she wouldn't waste time. In fact, when he was giving her initiation, he stopped right in the middle and said, oh, this mood, husband and wife with Krishna, for you it will never be. In other words, don't waste your time. That's not who you are. Your beloved is Brajendranandan, Shyamasundar, Krishna in Vrindavan, and your Swamini is Srimati Radhika. Just like that. And then all of the guesswork, all of the wondering, all of the uncertainty, all of that, am I doing the right thing? I don't know. All of that vanished in a moment. And Gurudev fixed it. He didn't give her something new, something different. He only pinpointed what is her intrinsic nature, and it's not to be a queen in Dwarka, so don't waste your time going in that direction. So in any case, or in either case, if we have a sincere calling, it might be that we're going in this direction or that direction or this one or that one. At this point, we might not know. But if we're really sincerely crying and with the desire to love and serve Krishna, Krishna will make the arrangement. He will send the necessary sadhu sangha to be able to help focus us. And we actually require sadhu sangha at every moment. We are quite drunk in this material world. Being intoxicated with Maya, we tend to go out of the lane quite easily. It's very easy to become derailed. One person says one thing and off the path. Like, hey, what happened to me? I didn't even know. I just listened to that one little thing and boom, off into the wrong direction. So Guru and Sadhu, Vaishnava, they keep us on the path. Śrīla Gurudev Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja, he explained about the mercy of Krishna. Krishna is an ocean of mercy. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu is an ocean of mercy. And every part of this existence, ours and the entire creation, everything in existence, is not separated from Him. There is nothing which is equal to or independent from Him. Nothing is independent. So if all you know, you don't know anything, and you just pick up any blade of grass or a straw and you pray to that straw with sincerity, with humility, with those existential necessities. Who am I? Why am I here? Why am I suffering? What is my purpose? What is my goal? What am I even doing? What is it all about? Please, I want to know the truth. Maybe Devaki, Jiva Pavana Prabhu, you might remember that album from Mangalananda. What is it? Change of Heart. There's that one song, Questions, Questions on My Mind. And he said, I want to know why I was made to want to live, though I'm forced to die. Tell me why. I was made to want to live, but I'm forced to die. So these questions are coming up. I want to know the truth. And we might end up kind of on our own, taking the wrong path, but yet if our prayer is sincere, if we're really trying, then Krishna will make the necessary arrangement for us to meet with someone who will guide us, adjust us, correct us, and bring us to our own soul's necessary path. This is up to Krishna. Srila Gaur Govinda Mahārāja, he would always say, and he said it quite a lot in so many different ways, our business is to cry and pray with sincerity. And the rest, that is Krishna's business. We should cry, please send me your own man, your own person. Send me your own person to help me. But ours is to cry and pray with sincerity. That is our business. And what Krishna sends us and how He sends it to us, that is His business. So, the album is on YouTube. I've heard it recently. So I hope that was a sufficient, just a wrap-up of that. Let me see, I'm going back. Devaki writes, we knew it was incense smoke, Sudevi. You know, there's something about that private space, you know, when you're in the temple at 7 o'clock in the morning, and then the only rock and roll we ever had, which was like wow to us, which was still a really good rock and roll song. Dun, 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 Govinda Adipusha Tamaham Bhajami. And the doors open, poof, and all this frankincense smoke comes out, and it's like you can't see anything. And then it starts to clear, and then you see the most magnificent, beautiful forms of the Lord in front of you. What an amazing experience. So we grew up with that every single day. So
Sonam asked why that amount of rounds, and I just want to say that it was because I worked full time, and all I could really do was 23 rounds of Harinam, and then 10 rounds of Jagannatha Swami. Otherwise,
you couldn't do like 24?
It felt right.
In other words, she created her own sadhana. She created her own goal.
I just knew that I had to chant something for them, and I was always attracted to the number 3. So 23 was good, and then 10 of the other one, because it just seemed right for Jagannath. I don't know, he's right. I made up my own thing, but I was working full time, so I would go to work after Mangalarti, and then I would come back on a bus, and then I would start my sadhana. You know, it was very difficult, but that was my only real life.
Yeah, I didn't know of anyone else who was doing that anywhere. But she was there every day with her sadhana, her fixed amount, weeping, crying, and praying for a particular goal. And I had no idea, why is she doing that? It's like, okay, we're married, but I don't know. No one had any idea about doing bhajan at that time. Bhajan meant sing a song in a temple. It didn't mean being in one place, focused on your goal with your guru and your harinam and praying to attain a particular goal. We had no idea, but she had an automatic, intrinsic calling, probably from previous lifetimes. Luckily, she was able to recognize Gurudev, and he recognized her, and he told her, because she said, I'm concerned that you won't remember me when you see me next. And he said, I will know your husband because he will be standing next to my darling daughter.
He initiated me with 32 every day.
And when he initiated her, he told her to chant a minimum of 32 rounds every day and increase from there. So there you go. So now we're going to enter into Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam. This is not a book. This is a transcendental treasure manifested from the heart of Satyavrata Muni, which took millions of years to manifest as he was progressing on the path of Raganuga Bhakti. Spontaneous loving devotion was awakening gradually in his heart. He started off in the mood of Aishvarya, awe and reverence, but then started desiring something different. Started desiring to see that beautiful form of Balagopal always, for that to always manifest in his heart, to see that beautiful form which is kissed again and again by Mother Yashoda, to be able to also kiss his cheeks again and again like Mother Yashoda, and to witness Radhika, Srimati Radhika, kissing his cheeks again and again. These moods were coming up in his heart, and as they were coming up, gradually these prayers were manifesting. Sri Ved Vyas placed it in Padma Purana, in this version. And why do I keep saying in this version? Because Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam is eternal. And in different times, in different spaces, many different acharyas will have commentaries. In this version, we have the commentary of Śrī Sanātana Gosvāmī, followed by the translation of that commentary by our Param Gurudev, Śrīla Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Mahārāja, along with his injected bhav anuvad, followed by the commentary of our Śrīla Gurudev, Śrīla Bhaktivedānta, Nārāyaṇa Goswami Mahārāja, full of ras and full of bhav, rasik and bhavuk, and so many sweet pastimes of Krishna. So before entering into this beautiful transcendental treasure and investigating its contents, we will pray in the dust of the lotus feet of these divine personalities with the words of Śrī Raghunath Das Goswami. Vairāga juga bhakti rasam prayatnaira payanan mam anubhipshamandam kripambudiryapara duki sanatanastam prabhum ashrayami. Begging in the dust of their lotus feet that may even a particle of their moods which are present within these pages manifest itself within our hearts. And now we are on the commentary of our Śrīla Gurudev in the 8th verse. Namaste stu damne spuradipti damne Tvadiyadoraya to vishvasya dhamne Namo radhikaya tvadiyapriyaya Namo radhikaya tvadiyapriyaya Namo nantalilayo devaya tubhyam. Darvaza Bankaro Sudevi. Did I say that okay? Thank you. I should be taking more advantage of their association to be able to learn Hindi properly. So, our Śrīla Gurudev was speaking yesterday, or writing. There is something special about the writing of our acharyas. When they're speaking, it's coming out spontaneously. When they're writing, there's a lot of focus which goes into what they're going to say, what they're going to place there. They think about it from every single angle to make sure that the points are very, very powerful, focused, and clear, that there's no room for any distraction or any other concept to enter with so much focus. How much energy did our acharyas place in their writings? They knew that they would be published and that it would be present for all time. So they put so much focused energy there. We could see our Gurudev day and night translating. Srila Prabhupada day and night translating and writing. And really it's not them writing the commentaries. They're receiving those commentaries and placing it in any book. What's Thakur Das? Verse 8. Okay. So we are going to just reread this last bit that was already posted by Anjali. Following his example, so the example of Satyavrata Muni, now Gurudev is telling us what the sadhakas, those who are practicing sadhana to attain a particular goal in the path of Radhanuga. That means following in the anugatya or under the guidance of the eternal associates of Krishna in Vrindavan. After determining one's cherished goal, they should engage their time in praying, remembering, and worshipping Bhagavan along with those associates of his who have the same sort of love for Sri Krishna as he longs to attain, or she. Therefore, it is... so, just want to reiterate that point based on the questions that were already asked yesterday and today. That once we have a clear indication of our goal, our sadhya, then we should endeavor to associate with those personalities who have that same goal or who are already serving within that same aspiration, who are serving within that category. For example, if someone, let's say, is a Ram Bhakta, a devotee of Ram, and they're meant to serve Ram like Hanuman, then their guru would diagnose that nature within their Atma and would engage them in the sadhana, the practice, which is necessary to attain that particular goal. That person should eventually exclusively associate with those persons who are exclusively focusing on that goal and also be under the guidance of Hanuman or those who are serving just like Hanuman, meaning those who are already perfect. So that would be their goal. And in Brajamud, for those who are aspiring for Rupanuga, being directed and diagnosed by Gurudev according to the internal nature of their Atma, then they would associate with devotees who are also endeavoring for that particular goal, and they would take shelter of and be under guidance of those personalities who are serving in this realm under the guidance of Sri Rupa and in that transcendental Aprakat Dham, the transcendental pastimes of Radha and Krishna under the guidance of Sri Rupa. So that would be our path, very specifically. So that is Raganuga Sadhana. Then Srila Gurudev quoted this verse, Krishna Smaram Janam Chasya from Bhaktirasamrita Sindhu. The devotee should constantly remember Sri Krishna along with his dearmost associates whom one chooses to follow. And we already spoke about this choice. It means which is favorable for one's bhakti. While permanently living in Braj, he should become attached to always hearing the narrations of their pastimes with Sri Krishna. Now, living in Braj doesn't mean just physically living in Vrindavan, because so many people physically live here and they don't live here at all, right? Like so many people, they come up to me, hello, you have any sister? I want to get married. I want to do business in America. Can you help me arrange for me to go to America? I need a visa. This doesn't mean they're living in Vrindavan. Who is living in Vrindavan? Vishuddha Brajbasi. Srila Gurudev is living in Vrindavan. Srila Prabhupada is living in Vrindavan. Rupa, Sanatan, Raghunath, Das Goswami, Jiva Goswami, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. All of our Rupanuga Guru Varga, they are living in Vrindavan. And if they're not physically in Vrindavan, No matter where they travel in the world or universe, they are still in Vrindavan. And wherever they go, they make that place non-different from Vrindavan. Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur writes this in his bhajans. That place where the pure devotee is, that land is non-different from Vrindavan. Those mountains in that area are non-different from Govardhan. Those rivers are non-different from Yamuna. The lakes are non-different from Radhakund and Shyamakund. And we have witnessed this practically and personally in the association of our Gurudev when he would go, for example, to New Braj, to Badger. He would say, this is not Badger. This is New Braj, same as Braj. And he would say, look, Giriraj is there. And he would even have us do Anukut Mahamahotsav, Govardhan Puja, there. Jamuna is there, Radhakund, Shyamakund are here. Leave Badger and come with me to Vrindavan. He would tell us. And there we will bathe in Jamuna 3 times. And then he would say, 1, 2, 3. Now you should sit. We will hear Harikatha. Rupa and Sanatan are having a discussion. And we would be there with him. And as he would start speaking, most amazing thing would happen. And I've told you this before. Suddenly, the sky would turn a very gentle purplish hue. And it would start sprinkling very gently. And then, in the distance, you would hear peacocks. We were like, oh my God, where are we? Even the flowers would wait to bloom until a day or 2 before he arrived. If he was coming 2 weeks later in June, they would wait for 2 weeks. If he was coming 2 weeks earlier, they would bloom early. Wherever he would go is Vrindavan. In the same way that Tulsi, wherever she is, doesn't matter if she's in London or in California, in Los Angeles, or in Hong Kong, or in South Africa, or in Australia, or wherever you are, Italy, still you circumambulate her, right? Still you offer your pranam to her. Her base is Vrindavan. So she's always a Brajvasi, and so are our pure devotee Rupanuga Guru Vargas. Wherever they go, that is Vrindavan. Once one of the devotees apologized to our Gurudev. Oh, I'm so sorry you had to be on the airplane for 16 hours. He said, I was in Vrindavan. So for him, it's not a problem wherever he is because he's always absorbed. So really, Vrindavan is not just being physically here. Because where's the mind and where's the heart? So to be in Vrindavan really means to be at the feet of that person who is fully carrying Krishna in his heart. And Krishna is not alone. Who is with Krishna? Srimati Radhika, all of the gopis, all of his friends, all of his cows, all of his parents, all of the trees, Yamuna River, Govardhan, all are present within the heart of the pure devotee. So wherever the pure devotee is, that is Vrindavan. And if we can somehow come close to the heart of the pure devotee, then we can always be in Vrindavan. That is why it is said that even when one comes to the Dham, they should always be under guidance. We should be under guidance because otherwise we can be in the Dham physically, but as Srila Bhaktivedānta Bharati Mahārāja explained, the net of Maya is over and we will only see the external Mayic form of Vrindavan. Like Ravan was not able to kidnap the real Sita, he caught Maya Sita and was taking a Maya form with him. How can Ravan touch the eternal consort of Śrī Ram? But for Leela's sake, it appeared like this, so that everyone can remember the beautiful, sweet pastimes of Śrī Ram. So in the same way that Ravan was trying to take the real Sita, if our moods are like Ravan, we want to be the enjoyer, we want to be the center, we want to take everything for ourselves, selfish and self-centered, and we don't have pure love and devotion for Krishna, then are we really in the Dham? Are we really in Vrindavan? This is the question. So wherever the pure devotee is, we should run there and drink the nectar of their Harikatha. Then we can be in Vrindavan. And to follow their guidance, to be under their direction. And simply put, if I had the money for a ticket, or if anyone had the money for a ticket, let's say I was here in Vrindavan, but my Gurudev or Srila Prabhupada was going to do a week-long program in Delhi, what do you think would be more beneficial? For me to stay here?
To go to have association of Guru.
Yes. Why?
Astra said, under the 300 kilometers, if Guru Vaishnava is there, you have to go there.
Because you see the Dham through the ear.
Because you see the Dham through the ears for the Vaishnava association. It's more important because there we will actually receive Vrindavan. We will receive Krishna. When they are giving Harikatha, they are giving Krishna. Whereas here, I might be externally chanting, but my stupid mind will be flying all over the universe and flicking through Facebook or anything else, YouTube. So, where is my mind? Where is my heart? Mahaprabhu said one should make their mind and heart Vrindavan. Moramanam Vrindavan. I guarantee you, if Srila Prabhupada came back and was giving classes, let's say you were here in Vrindavan or in Mayapur, and it was only like, a couple hours drive away, everyone would leave where they were to go and see him. Because even if it was across the world, if you have the capacity to do it, of course we would do it. Our Srila Gurudev would say that too. When we would be chanting our japa on our own during parikrama. Or during his harikatha. But during parikrama, I specifically remember this. We were in Talavan. Gurudev said, if I see anyone chanting on their mala during the parikrama, kirtan, I will take your mala away. He said, you think your own individual chanting, full of mundane consciousness, is more powerful than the kirtan of Mahaprabhu? Do you know who's leading this parikrama? He said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Panchatattva is leading this. Who's in the front? All of our Goswamis and our Rupa Anuga Guru Varga, all of our Vaishnava Acharyas. They're doing that kirtan. And you think being off to the side on your own, you think that is more powerful, more important? If I see anyone chanting on your mala during this parikrama kirtan, I will take your mala away. We were like, whoa. So there's some difference. What is my depth of qualification? Is my chanting, my own personal chanting in material consciousness, more powerful than the harikatha of the pure devotee? If that pure devotee is giving harikatha, we should run there and drink and listen. By that, whatever chanting we have been doing will become surcharged thousands of times, and the benefit will be thousands of times greater. So, first priority, sadhu sangha, ado guru parashray, taking shelter, being under guidance, then everything else. Sadhu sangha, nam kirtan, bhagavat shravan, maturava, shrimurtir shraddhaya sevan. Mahaprabhu mentioned these 5 angas of bhakti. Our Srila Gurudev said, if the first one is established, sadhu sangha, associating with premi bhaktas, devotees who have love and affection for Krishna, then automatically all of the other steps, all of the other limbs of bhakti will take place. Nam kirtan, bhagavat shravan, maturava, shrimurtir shraddhaya sevan. So the methodology of Raganuga Bhakti is as follows. The devotee should remember his beloved worshipful Lord, the youthful Nandanandan Shri Krishna, and the Lord's dear associates, such as Shri Rupa Manjari or any other associate, that was in parentheses, who possess the mood that the devotee aspires for. So aspiring for would mean what has been diagnosed by our Shri Guru. Absorbed in hearing about their pastimes with Shri Krishna, he should, what?
Where's the remote?
It's on the shelf around the corner next to the light switch. Absorbed in hearing about their pastimes with Shri... Sudevi, also there's a switch on the wall behind the chair there, under the mirror.
It's fine, it's on.
Okay. Sorry. Absorbed in hearing about their pastimes with Shri Krishna, he should reside forever in the cowherd settlement of Sri Nanda, including Sri Vrindavan, Sri Govardhan, Sri Radha Kund, and so on, which are saturated with the particular humors, that means rasas, of those pastimes. These pastime places of Sri Krishna are enriched with the Brajabasi's love, especially Shringar Rasa, conjugal love. Moreover, they act as stimulus to evoke a sadhaka's emotions in his own specific mood. So here Gurudev is giving this emphasis. Moreover, they act as a stimulus to evoke a sadhaka's emotions in his own specific mood. Rasa udipaka means it gives stimulation for that rasa and prompt his remembrance of Sri Krishna's pastimes. Lila udipaka. Lila udipaka. What is it? Radha Kunda Tata. Udipaka mani. Lila vilasa udipaka mani. Lila vilasa udipaka mani. So here, moreover, they act as a stimulus. These pastime places act as a stimulation for the Raganuga Sadhaka to awaken or evoke the emotions from one's own mood. And they also create a stimulation to always remember Krishna's pastimes. So Srila Gurudev would bring us to all of these pastime places again and again and emphasize, re-emphasize, again and again, telling us these pastimes of Krishna, so that when we go any place, oh, this happened in this place, this happened here, that happened there. Oh, how to get to Nidhuvan? Take that gully, this gully, that gully, you'll be there. How to get to Radharaman? Oh, just go past Nidhuvan, just to the right, take that, follow the road, and you will end up at the front gates of Radharaman. Srila Gurudev brought us everywhere and created not only a map, but also place those pastimes in our hearts. Therefore, it is prescribed that, if possible, one should physically reside in places such as Sri Vrindavan within the area of Sri Nanda's Braja. But if it is not possible for him to reside there physically, he should always reside there by mind. Just a note. If Sri Guru or the pure Vaishnava is in the Dham and is telling you the pastimes of that place, that is also, in a sense, well, it is the holy Dham. It is the place of Krishna's pastimes. So you can say that there's the extra added amazing amount of bhakti sukriti that will manifest. You are there in the pastime place of Krishna with Krishna's premi bhakta, hearing Krishna's transcendental pastimes. It is compounded nectar. Our Gurudev would tell us that whatever that you do, we're going to speak about this a little tomorrow, whatever you do for bhakti on Ekadashi, this is multiplied 1,000 times. Whatever you do for bhakti during the month of Kartik, this is multiplied 1,000 times. Whatever you do for favorable for bhakti in Vrindavan during the month of Kartik is multiplied another 1,000 times. So you see, each time you add any transcendental connection, you are multiplying your bhakti sukriti more and more. So, for example, following Ekadashi in Vrindavan during the month of Kartik, right, while hearing from Sri Guru and making an endeavor on the path of bhakti, your sukriti, your spiritual merit is amplified thousands and millions of times. And for anyone who has even one drop of genuine desire or greed to progress on the path of bhakti, they would make the endeavor to maximize it as much as possible. Therefore, Srila Gurudev would request us to all come to Vrindavan for Kartik every single year. So, Sevasaraka rupena siddha rupena chatrahi tad bhavalipsinakarya brajalokanusarataha. This is from Sri Bhakti-rasamrita Sindhu 12295. Desiring to obtain their particular bhava, otherwise known as bhav, he should closely follow in the footsteps of a particular associate in Braj. Seva sadhaka rupena. in one's sadhak roop, in your devotee form. You serve under the guidance of the devotees and reside in Braj. Braja lokanusarata. And siddha rupena chatra hi. He means certainly or also. So externally in your sadhak roop and internally in your internally spiritually conceived spiritual form. Now this is not necessarily for the neophyte devotees. This is for those who are truly raga nuga sadhakas, who have progressed beyond a certain point. Then externally they're in their devotee form, and internally within their spiritual form, serving under the guidance of their transcendental guide, Radha, Shri Radha and Krishna. So under their guidance, he should engage in service both in his external form as a sadhaka and internally with his perfected spiritual body. Yes, this is all told by Śrīla Rupa Gosvāmī. It is there in Śrī Chaitanya Charitamrita. It is there within our Gaudiya Vaishnava literatures. This is not something concocted or created. And we should be very careful, and I'm using this very carefully. We should be careful not to superimpose anything about these subject matters and make it into something that is, oh, that's sahajya, because that was a tendency that we kind of, due to association, grew up with. But this is all official, recognized works of our Goswamis which are presented within our Gaudiya Vaishnava literatures. This is all proper and perfect. There is no concoction here, no mental concoction. The devotee should mentally serve Sri Krishna. It's not a concoction. Manasi seva means within the mind or within the heart, in the way that he most cherishes in his internally conceived perfected spiritual body, siddharup, which is perfectly suited for rendering such service. So this is a very high level. And I'm going to tell this katha again just so that we don't artificially jump into that realm. Many years ago, on the disappearance day of our Srila Prabhupada, the devotee who was to do arati for him could not find any paraphernalia for doing arati. So one boy suggested to him, just do it by mind. So they had searched far and wide but couldn't find anything. So he was there, no achman cup, no bell, no incense, no fire, no any articles, no chamara, nothing. And so he just did it by mind, but was manifesting the external motions of doing it. So he had his achman cup, he put his Brahman thread there, he's doing achman like this, but there's no water or anything. Then he lights the incense. He puts the achman on the bell, which is non-existent, and the incense there, which is non-existent. He had no fire. And without the fire, but he's, anyway, making the motion of lighting the incense. Then he picks up the bell, which is only in his mind, and the incense, which is only in his mind, but he's doing the external. So he's shaking his left hand and spinning his right hand, like this. Then he does the fire, the ghee lamp, and then finally he comes to chamara seva. So chamara, he's ringing this knot bell and twisting his knot chamara. There was no chamara either. He's doing this, but there's nothing in his hands. And Gurudev walks into the assembly hall at that point in time in Varshana. Gurudev walks in and looks at him. He's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "We couldn't find any articles, so I'm doing it by mind, Gurudev." And Gurudev just answered, "How would you like it if I fed you by mind?" In other words, one must be qualified to actually do Manasi Seva. If in your mind you're able to do this Manasi Seva, and then you're testing the kheer within your mind, and while testing it, you realize it's too hot, and externally you burn your finger, then you can say, yes, this is Manasi Seva.
You said it was Satyam.
Shh, we're not telling any names. Actually, at that time, it may have been Krishna Bhajan Prabhu. So, yeah. Anyway, it was a very powerful lesson that Srila Gurudev taught all of us through that experience. So we're reading about doing this within one's internally conceived perfected spiritual body, which is perfectly suited for rendering such service. He should perform Manasi Seva under the guidance and direction of the Sakhis. So we are listening to, from Gurudev, what one should do when they come to a certain point of internal spiritual realization. We should understand this very clearly. He should perform such Manasi Seva of the mind or of the heart under the guidance and direction of the Sakhis, such as Sri Lalita or Sri Vishaka, and of the Manjaris like Sri Rupa Manjari, with his physical body in which he performs sadhana, sadhaka rupa, that is the physical sadhana body. He should serve in the footsteps of Sri Rupa Gosvāmī, Śrī Sanātana Gosvāmī, and other Goswamis in their line. So this is the meaning of seva sadhaka rupena, doing seva in your sadhak form under the guidance of those personalities who are also in their sadhak form, and then siddha rupena chatrahi, and within the internally conceived spiritual body, siddha sharir, serving under the guidance of those personalities who are in their siddha forms, in their nitya lila forms. So Sri Rupa Goswami here, Sri Rupa Manjari there, here serving under Sri Rupa Goswami, internally serving with Sri Rupa Manjari under the guidance of Rupa Manjari. This is that meaning of that. With his physical body in which he performs sadhana, he should serve in the footsteps of Sri Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, and other Goswamis in their line. Śrī Satyavrata Muni realizes that Sri Bhagavan has never allowed himself to be bound in any of his other incarnations. Do you see any other form being bound? Vamandev was bound, but not the same. But Bali Mahārāja bound him by his mood of love and affection, and Vamandev actually had to expand. He has one form in the heavenly planets with Indra and another form in the subterranean heavenly planets with Bali Mahārāja, but not bound like baby Krishna was bound with a rope by Mother Yashoda. Even Sri Baladev Prabhu, despite living in Braj where he is always absorbed in natural human-like pastimes, has never allowed himself to be bound. Yet the Lord of all lords, so Baladev is an expansion of Krishna and he's never allowed himself to be bound, and yet the Lord of all lords, the original Lord, Advaitam Achyutam Anadam Anantarupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayovanam Cha Vedeshu Durlabam Adurlabam Atma Bhakto Govindam Adi Purusham Damham Bhajami, the Lord of all lords, Brajendra Nandan, Sri Krishna, the son of Sri Nanda and Yashoda, was bound with the rope of his mother's affection, Vatsalya Prem, for him. Therefore, that rope is not an ordinary piece of string. Rather, it is the direct embodiment of Sri Yashoda's maternal affection. Eager to fulfill his cherished desire or to become as fortunate as the rope, the sage begins this verse by first praying to that rope. Namaste stu damne. So, all glories to that rope. The rope which binds the belly of Krishna, ki jai. You wanted to hear more about this quality of the rope, so here it was given. So now we have crossed our 8 o'clock. We will continue, not tomorrow, but the day after. We actually, believe it or not, did 1.5 pages. That's big for one day. So, Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam ki jai, Śrī Satyavrata Muni ki jai, Śrīla Gurudev ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhaktivedānta ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. Would you like to lead a quick Hare Krishna? No? Chalo.
Quick one. Which one? I don't need that. Which one?
Sudevi doesn't need the mic.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hari Hari Bo.
So thank you all very much for being with us today and giving us the opportunity to remember the beautiful teachings of our Gurudev and our Guru Varga, and also for the beautiful questions you've asked, which gives so much inspiration to remember those beautiful teachings of our Gurudev and Guru Varga. Also, I would like to express our deepest indebtedness to each and every one of you for daily giving us the opportunity to follow the order of our Gurudev, which is our life and soul. We look forward to being with all of you tomorrow. Tomorrow we are observing Ekadashi
And
Madhavendra Puripad's
Madhavendra Puri Badashi.
Shri Madhavendra Puripad
Ki Jai.
So we're excited for that. And we look forward to being with all of you tomorrow. Dandava Pranam.
Dandava Pranam, dear
Oh, by the way,
Vaishnavas.
This is Pure Cow Seva, Anup Krishna Das, Sudevi Dasi. Smile for the camera. Radhe Radhe. They're serving, you can see any day, if you see on their Facebook page, they are serving every day hundreds of cows and monkeys and dogs and doing so much.
You can see you in the mirror.
Radhe Radhe. So, if you are interested to help and assist with that seva, they do need help to serve all of those animals. It's like a really big family to feed. So you can send any funds or donations via anandinijagana@gmail.com. That's
Please
her PayPal
support
address.
Pure Cow Seva, everyone. These guys are great. They do so much seva for the Dham Vasis.
anandinijagana@gmail.com. That's the PayPal address to be able to feed all of those animals, and it also
Feeds them.
feeds them. So there.
It's their job and their seva.
Their job and their seva. So, Dandava Pranam, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Radhe Radhe.
Radha Vino Bihari Ju
Ki Jai.
Shachinandana Gaura Hari
Ki Jai.
Chiveriamo
Chivriamo Romani. Hasta mañana. Kal milenge. Radhe